Next one is the next point, selection of container and closure for the parental. Here in this image you can see different types of containers available for the parental administration. In this case here the container which is standing upright, that is called as the ampoules, and next to ampoules which is closed by the rubber closure is called as the vials. So ampoules and vials, these are the widely used small volume parental for the administration. Then the selection of container closure. So it is this container ensure that the product must retain its purity, potency, and quality throughout the shelf life. So what is the role of container? The container are going to maintain the purity, potency, and quality of the product throughout the shelf life. Throughout the shelf life means if the shelf life of your product is up to 2 years. So means throughout the 2 year, this container are going to protect your parental preparations. And these containers are classified into different classes. First one is the glass containers, which are made up of the glass. Here in the image you can see the glass and vials, ampoules and vials. These are made up of only glass materials. These ampoules and vials still not available in plastic containers, because this glass container have to resist the high temperature and pressure in autoclave while going through the sterilization, terminal sterilization. So that's why these small volume parentals are mainly made up of glass materials only, because the glass can withstand the higher temperature and pressure in autoclave or the moisture sterilization. So glass is the choice for most of the small volume parental, SVI, small volume parental injections. It is composed principally of silicon dioxide. So this type of glass materials are mainly made up of silicon dioxide along with the other oxides such as sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, boron and iron. As we know that the glass is made up of alkali and alkaline earth metal. So all this type of metals will present in your glass material, and the principal component of the glass material is silicon dioxide. Glass is preferred for the clarity reason. So just because of the clarity purpose, we are going to select the glass as a material. Because if the material of your container is not transparent, then you can observe by means of visual inspection. You can't expect whether there is presence of any particulate material or not. If the glass container is clear, then you can clearly see the presence of any particles or not. The types of glasses according to the USP, the glass is classified into three types. First one is the type 1 glass. This is called as borosilicate glass, or it is also called as the neutral glass. Borosilicate glass or neutral glass. Second one is the soda lime treated glass. It is a soda lime treated glass. If you look at the type 2 and 3 glass, both are made up of soda lime glass. But what is the difference in between type 2 and 3? Type 2 is internally coated by means of chemicals. So that's why it is called as treated glass. Soda lime treated glass. Internally it is coated by the chemical so that it will prevent the entry of alkali and alkaline earth metal into your parental preparation. Type 1 glass will be suitable for all products, although sulfur dioxide treatment is sometimes used for even greater resistance to the glass leachable. So type 1 glass is mostly useful for the all type of parental, whether your parental is aqueous in the nature, non-aqueous in the nature, or whatever it may be. So whatever the parental preparation you are having, you can use type 1 glass. As compared to that, type 2 glass is useful for the solutions that is buffered and having the pH below 7 or is not reactive with the glass. So in this case, only those preparation which are not reacting with the glass materials, that will be added into the type 2 type of glass materials. And the type 3 glass usually for the anhydrous liquid or the dry substances. Anhydrous liquid means there will be no presence of water. Oily preparations, oil based parental preparations. Why it is suitable for oil based parental preparation? Because type 3 glass is a soda lime glass, and there is no treatment given to the glass. So if this type 3 type of glass we are using for the aqueous based preparation, if we are using this type 3 glass for the aqueous preparation, in that case there will be maximum penetration of the water or maximum attack of the water on type 3 glass, and more alkali and alkaline earth metal will enter into your parental preparations, because type 3 glass is uh, attacked by the water. If you are going for the water attack test, in the water attack test, water will able to remove more and more alkali and alkaline earth metal from the type 3 glass. So that's why type 3 glass is not suitable for aqueous based parental, and that's why we are that's why it is suitable for anhydrous liquids only. Anhydrous liquid means there will be no presence of water. So if water is not present, means the alkali and alkaline earth metal will not enter into your parental preparations. So type 1 and 2 glasses, these are mostly suitable for aqueous based parental, and type 3 glass is suitable for the non aqueous or anhydrous liquids. Type 2 and 3 glass compounds are composed of reactive high proportions of sodium oxides and calcium oxides. This makes the glass chemically less resistant. Type 2 glass has a lower concentration of migratory oxides than the type 3. Why type 2 is having a low concentration of migratory oxide? Because type 2 glass is internally coated by the chemical. Type 2 is going through the chemical treatment, and that's why type 2 has a lower concentration of migratory oxide as compared to the type 3. Whereas in type 3 there is no chemical treatment, so the alkali metals are very free to enter into your parental preparation. Type 2 has been treated under controlled temperature and humidity with sulfur oxide and other dealkalizers to neutralize the interior surface of the container. So as we are discussing about the chemical treatment of the type 2 glass, so here is the solution, or here is the explanation how the chemical treatment is given. So type 2 glass is treated under controlled temperature and humidity condition with the sulfur dioxide. So it is internally coated with the sulfur dioxide and other dealkalizers, so that the alkali will not enter into your preparation. And in this case your internal surface will be completely neutralized. Next, the glass types are determined from the result of two USP tests. So how we can determine whether the given type of glass is of type 1, 2 or 3? How we can determine? By using USP test. So there are two tests are mentioned in the USP. First one is the powdered glass test, and second one is the water attack test. So in powdered glass test, whatever the containers you are having, we are going to crush it, convert it into completely powdered form, and then uh, use for the glass type test, whether it is of type 1, 2 or 3. If it contain more and more alkali and alkaline earth metal, it will reacts with the acid when we are going for the titration. So during the titration we come to know how much amount of alkalis are present in your glass. So after powder glass test, we are going to mix this powder glass with the water and keep it in autoclave for some time. So whatever the alkali and alkaline earth metals are there, it will leach into the water, and then we can titrate it with the acid. Second one is the water attack test. In this water attack test, containers are filled with the water. Containers are filled with the water, and if we are talking about the ampoules are completely sealed, and if there are some vials, then vials are filled with the parental preparation and close with the rubber closure, and then we are going to keep this container into the autoclave, and then this autoclave is operated at 121 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes and 15 lbs pressure. So at this temperature and pressure, water will start to attack on your glass material. Water will continuously attack onto the glass material. And if your glass is not strong enough, just like type 1 glass, then more and more alkali will release into your parental preparation. So this is the difference between powder glass test and water attack test. So what is the powder glass test? In this, whatever the container you are having, glass container, it is crushed into a fine powder, and then this fine powder used for the test. And in on the other hand, water attack test, containers are filled with the water and kept in autoclave at 121 degrees Celsius, 15 lbs pressure for 20 minutes. So at this mentioned temperature and pressure, then we have to remove the container and titrate the solution, parental solution, against the acids. So if less amount of alkalis are present, then the titration reading will also very less. If more and more alkalis are entering into your parental preparation, then the titration reading will also more. And in USP, from the titration reading, we can conclude the types of container, what type of container it is. Powder glass test, the challenges the leaching potential of interior surface of the glass, whereas the water attack test challenges only the intact surface. Intact surface means here we are not going to break the glass. We are going to check the glass surface in intact form. Whereas in powder glass test, we are going to crush the crush the glass into a powder form. Glass can be a source that can cause of leachable, extractable, and particulates, means the glass deamination or the glass laminae formation, adsorption of formulation component, especially proteins and cracks and scratches. So why we are going for the glass test? To check the because the glass is the source of various leachable, extractable, and particulate material. So this particulate material can adsorb the formulation components, that is the protein. So protein is essential component of most of the parental preparation. So if there are leachable components present in your glass, then the protein will react with the leachable component, and your protein may become non-reactive. So that's why we have to check the leachable or extractable particulate material which is present in your glass. The second type of container is the plastic. Plastic as a material for the parental preparation. So plastic packaging always been important for the ophthalmic drug dosage form, and gaining the popularity in injectable dosage form, where you can see the plastic as material for parental preparation only in case of large volume parental. Nowadays, this plastic is only available as a uh, container for the injectable preparation for mainly large volume parentals. You can see plastic container only in large volume parental, whereas in small volume parental, till date only glass containers are available, and plastics are not suitable for the small volume parentals. Why plastic is suitable for large volume parentals? Because as the size of the container is size of the parental preparation is very large, 500 or sometime up to a liter also. So this 500 to 1 liter of the solution, if we are going to seal into a glass container, already a weight of 500 to 1 liter of the parental preparation is already very much. The weight, if we are talking about 1000 ml parental preparation, the weight will be around 1 kg. And again, if we are using the glass container, the weight of container will be very large. So that's why it will increase in the cost in transportation. There will be increase in transportation cost if we are taking the glass container for large volume parental. Then again, it is very difficult to handle the large size glass containers, whereas small size ampoules and vials we can easily handle. So if the container is broken down, there will be complete wastage of the parental preparation. So that's why plastic is only the packaging material for the large volume parentals, and mainly this plastic container we are using for the ophthalmic preparations. If we have seen the eye drops, mostly they are available in plastic because they are easy to squeeze. If you want to take one or two drop, just by pressing that container you can manage the number of drops, how many drops you require. So that's why ophthalmic preparations are mostly available in the plastic type of containers. And the plastic bottles, these are available for the large volume parenterals, as we have seen. The plastic vials for small volume parentals may be a wave of the future plastic packing offer. Means there may be a chances in your future, but nowadays these plastic vials for small volume parentals are not available. So this may be a cost saving because by elimination of problem caused by the breakage of glass and increase convenience of the use. As the glass materials are fragile, there are chances for the breakage of the glass. So the plastic can replace the glass also in case of small volume parental, but in case of future. Nowadays, plastic is only the packaging material for large volume parentals only, and also the ophthalmic dosage form. Plastics, why plastics are very popular? Because they are light in weight, less fragile and easy to handle, but not clear as that of the glass. Next one is the rubber as a packaging material. So rubber formulations are used in case of rubber closer and rubber plungers and other application. As you can see in this image, two images are there. On the left hand side, if you have seen the syringe, so in syringe there is one rubber part that is called as plunger. So by pulling this plunger towards and forward and backward direction, you can manage the volume of parental preparation. So by means of plunger, we can adjust the volume of parental preparation required for the administration. So rubbers are useful as a plunger in case of syringe, and also rubbers are useful as a closer in case of vials. Vial as a container for parental preparations. So vials are generally closed by means of rubber closures. The most common rubber polymers used in small volume parental closures are the natural and butyl rubber. So whatever the image you are observing in this picture, this rubber is made up of mainly natural and butyl rubber, because this mainly, if you are talking about the butyl rubber, they are more flexible and it is very easy to piercing the needle into the rubber closer, and again once you remove the needle, again the aperture or whatever the pore is there, that will be completely resealable. Silicone and neoprene is also available as a rubber closer. Then butyl rubber has an advantage over the natural rubber because it requires pure additives and has low water vapor permeation properties and has a very good characteristic with respect to gaseous permeation reactivity with the active ingredient. Why butyl rubbers are more advantageous? Because it requires very few additives for the manufacturing, and apart from the additives, it is also having a very good properties, that is permeation property, and also it prevents the gaseous permeation. That's why butyl rubbers are more popular as compared to other materials. Then rubber permits the entry of hypodermic needle into the injection vials and provides the resealing of vial after needle is withdrawn. Means you might see the doctor is going to piercing this rubber closer for so many times, near about 10 to 15 times depending on the capacity of that container. So after 10 to 15 times of piercing, there might be chances for formation of a hole into that rubber closer. And once there is formation of hole, there may be chances for permeation of the gases and there may be chances for permeation of the microorganism. The preparation may undergoes microbial contamination. So that's why if we are taking the rubber closer, these rubber closers are completely resealable once the needle is removed. So once you remove the needle, again the closure will completely closed, and it will also prevent the entry of gases into your parental preparations. Next one is the filling and sealing of ampoules. Ampoules are thin-walled glass containers which after filling are sealed by either tip sealing and pull sealing. Last time we have seen the video also, video of ampoule filling and sealing. So here in this image you can see the ampoules are filled by means of small capillaries. Small capillaries are allowed to enter into the narrow neck of your ampoules, and the ampoules get completely filled, and then the capillaries are removed. Means once the filling procedure is complete, then filling capillaries automatically get removed, and then next batch of the ampoules are available for the filling. So this is a continuous process. So once the filling is done, then the ampoules are sealed either by means of tip sealing and the pull sealing. The contents are withdrawn after rupture of the glass or single occasion only. Means contents are withdrawn after rupture of the glass for single occasion only. Means if you have seen the ampoules, once the ampoules are break, then the whole content of the container we have to take for a single time, only one time, and the ampoules are never reusable and it is not to be used for two times. Once the ampoule is break, whatever the content is present there, whether it may be 1 ml, 2 ml or 10 ml, or maximum up to 30 ml of the ampoules are available in the market. So whatever the content is there, you have to take at a time and administer to the patient. So these are great packaging for the variety of the drugs, and filled in product is in contact with the glass only, and the packaging is 100% tamper proof. What is meant by tamper proofing? Tamper proof is what is meant by tamper proofing? Whatever the container you are purchasing, whether it may be normal water bottle, or it may be uh, your maybe protein powder or oil bottle or whatever it may be, each and every container is available with the tamper proofing. What is meant by tamper proofing? Once the closure is open, if we are using this container for the second time, we can come to know whether the that closure is tamper proof or not. Means there is one liner is provided along with the closure. If this liner is broken down, it means that it is not a tamper proof container. So this type of tamper proofing evidences are provided with the container, so that the patient will come to know whether the container is completely okay or not. The brake system, that is one point cut or the color brake rings are provided. Means one point is provided on ampoule neck, whether means it is a point at which we have to break the ampoules. If you have seen the ampoules carefully, you can see one color ring is provided on the neck of that ampoules. So this color line indicates that this is the point at which you have to break the ampoules. Once you because it is having less thickness as compared to other part of the ampoules. So why it is provided with the less thickness? Because this point is easy to break, and that's why this type of color rings, means one point cut is provided onto the ampoules, and these ampoules are available in size of about 0.5 to 50 ml quantities. Here the major amount of liquid delivered from the small orifice into the ampoules by filling machine. Means the major amount of liquid delivered into from the small orifice into the ampoules. So if you see the filling machine, the capillaries are having very small opening. Why these capillaries are having very small opening? Because if the opening or the filling capillaries are very large in size, it may touch the surface of your ampoules, and once it touches the surfaces of your ampoules, it may causes charring during sealing of your ampoules. Charring means what? If a single drop touched to the surface of your ampoules, this single drop may contain the electrolyte, or it may be contain your dissolved drug. And when this type of ampoules are exposed to the higher temperature for sealing purpose, at that time the water may get evaporated, whereas the electrolyte and the other drugs may get burned at that point. And this type of black spot you can easily observe after sealing of the ampoules. So that's why the filling part of the filling machine never touch the surface of ampoules. It must easily enter into the ampoules and then again easily remove. It is not allowed to touch the surface of ampoules. The size of delivery tube is governed by opening into the container. So means what is the uh, opening into the container means what is the size of that container, then viscosity and density of the liquid, and the speed of delivery is also essential when we are going to filling the device, when we are going to filling the ampoules or vials. The tube must be free to enter the neck of container. Must free to enter the neck of container, but it should not touch the surfaces of your container, and deliver the liquid deep enough to permit the to permit air to escape without sweeping entering the liquid into the neck or out of the container. So the tube must be free to enter into the neck of container. It should not touch the surface of your container. The filling machine part should be constructed of non-reactive material such as borosilicate glass or stainless steel material. And solutions are usually filled in bottle by means of gravity, pressure or vacuum filling devices. In case of emulsion and suspension, parental emulsion and suspensions are required specially designed filling equipment because they are having the high viscosity. If you are talking about the gravity, as we have seen in the earlier point, solutions are filled by means of the gravity, means there is no need of pressure because they are free flowing and having very less viscosity. If you are talking about the water, you have seen the water is having very low viscosity and it is free flowing. So in this case, the bottles can filled by means of gravity. There is no need of pressure. But when we are talking about the emulsions and suspension, as they are made up of some emulsifying and suspending agent. So because of this agent, the parental preparations are having high viscosity. So this type of preparation may not run against the gravity. So if you want to fill the container, there must be an application of pressure. By applying the pressure, we can fill the containers easily. Powders such as antibiotics are more difficult to fill than the liquids. As you have seen the liquids, they are very free flowing. So that's why liquids are very easy to fill into the container. But in case of powder, they may create the lots of dust during filling into the container. So that's why powders are very difficult to fill into the containers. Container should be sealed in aseptic area in immediately adjacent to the filling machine. Once the filling is done, then containers are sealed into the aseptic area only. And this aseptic area must be close to the filling machine. Once the filling is done, directly container will enter into the aseptic area where the containers are sealed by means of tip sealing or by means of uh, pull sealing. It is obvious that the container that has been opened can no longer be considered to be sterile. Means once the container is open, there is chances for microbial contamination. Once you open the container, you have to consume at a time if you want to prepare parental preparation, and the container must be open only in aseptic room only. Ampoules may be closed by melting a portion of the glass of neck either by means of tip seal or pull seal. Here you can see in this top image, this sealing is called as pull sealing. Here in this case, the neck of ampoules, here you can see this is the neck of ampoule. So this neck of ampoule, middle of the neck of ampoule is exposed to the high velocity jet burner, and because of the high velocity flame, the glass material will start to melt, and once it start melting, immediately you have to pull the ampoule by using the pair of tongue or forceps. So this type of sealing is called as pull sealing. Why it is called as pull sealing? Because we are going to pull the melted part away from the ampoules. That is called as pull sealing. And what is meant by tip sealing? Here in this case, the jet burner is exposed at the tip of your ampoules, but not at the neck of ampoule. Once we expose the tip of the ampoule to the high velocity jet burner, this tip is start melting, and again it get completely closed. So this type of sealing is called as tip sealing, when the tip is exposed to the high velocity jet burner. Here in this case again you can see one dot is given at the neck of ampoules. So this type of dot or the ring is provided with the ampoules. So this dot or ring is the indication of the breaking point of this ampoule. Means at this point we have to break this ampoule. Tip seals are made by melting sufficient glass at the tip of ampoules to form a bed of glass and close the opening. So this is performed in high temperature glass oxygen flame. Just a minute. So pull sealing is made by hitting the neck of rotating ampoule below the tip, then pulling the tip away to form a small twisted capillary just prior to begin melted closed. So we already discussed what is meant by tip sealing and pull sealing. So in case of pull sealing, we have to melt the neck and then we have to pull the tip of ampoules. And in case of tip sealing, only tip is exposed to the high velocity jet burner. Pull sealing process is slower one, but the sealing done by this is more secure than the tip sealing. So once the sealing is done, it is 100% sure that the ampoule is completely sealed. There is no chances for improper sealing. But in case of tip sealing, there may be chances of that the tip may not completely closed. So that's why pull sealing is more popular as compared to the tip sealing. Excessive heating of air, uh, as you know, the ampoules may contain the air. So when we are going to expose the neck of ampoules to the high velocity jet burner, in some cases the air may expand, and because of this expansion of the air, whatever the air present near the neck of ampoules, inside the neck of ampoule, so during this case there may be a fragile bubble at the point of seal. There may be formation of bubble into the neck of ampoules. So this type of sealing is called as bad sealing. Filling and sealing of vials and infusion bottle. At the top side corner you can see the infusion bottles which are made up of the glass material. Nowadays this type of infusion bottles are not available, which is made up of glass. The infusion bottles are available, but these are made up of only plastic material. This point we have already discussed why the infusion bottles are made up of plastic, because they are easy to carry, less chances for breaking, and the transportation cost is also very less. So that's why plastic infusion bottles are preferred as compared to the glass bottle. The solution which sterilized through the filtration are to be filled under the aseptic condition. Means those drugs which are sterilized by means of the filtration. If your drug is very sensitive to the heat, so heat sensitive drug we cannot sterilize by means of autoclaving or hot air oven. So in that case the parenterals preparation can be sterilized by means of filtration only, and this type of preparation must be filled under aseptic condition. As we are not going for the terminal sterilization, so that this type of filling must be in aseptic condition only. So during filling of the product to a container, care must be taken for the prevention of contamination. So whenever we are going to fill the container, we must have to take care of the contamination. Liquid is more easily filled than the solid. This is already we have discussed. Why liquids are easy to fill? Because they can fill using a small capillaries also, and as compared to that, solid powdered material are not easy to fill. They can create lots of dust during filling into the containers. Liquids which are more mobile, easy to transfer and subdivided than the viscous and sticky fluids. So liquids which are more mobile, just like your solution, just like means when we are going to dissolve parenteral into the water, this type of solutions are called as uh, liquids which are easy to transfer because they are having less viscosity as compared to the viscous and sticky fluids. Since this requires the heavy duty machineries for rapid production filling, for the viscous fluid, it requires the heavy duty machineries because we have to create the lots of pressure so that the product get filled into the final containers. The filling of liquid into the containers with the high accuracy involves the following method, either by means of volumetric filling or time pressure filling. And what is the volumetric filling? So this machine is having the pistons or the peristaltic pump, and these are most commonly used for the method. Just like your syringe is also having the piston, the rubber closer, which we can move in forward or backward direction. That is called as piston pump. So volumetric machines are generally using the piston pump. Then the time pressure filling machine is used for filling of the sterile liquid. So in this case, pressure is utilized. Time pressure is utilized for filling the sterile liquid. A filling system is connected by the production tank that equipped with the pressure sensor. Means wherever the production is doing. So this production tank is directly connected to the filling tank, because as we are going to prepare the parenteral preparation, once the preparation is complete, then it is not easy to carry up to the filling area. So that's why production tank is directly connected with the filling machine, so that once the production is done, then it will be directly available into the filling compartment and your ampoules will be ready to fill. The sensor is used for measurement of the pressure, and the product is driven using the pressure, mainly uses the nitrogen with no pump mechanism. So this is all about the filling machine. So by closing the opening using a rubber closer, that is called as stopper, the glass or plastic vials can be sealed properly. So by using the rubber closer, we can seal the vial or bottles completely, and this should be done by after filling with the care to prevent the contamination of content inside the container. There is increased chances for the contamination if there is large opening in the vials. if uh, if you see the opening of containers in case of ampoules, the opening is very small. Why the opening is very small? When this opening is very small, it will prevent the entry of microorganism, and when the opening goes on increasing, there is maximum chances for entry of microorganism. So that's why we have to keep in mind that the opening of container must be as small as possible. The open container must be protected from contamination, especially in case of by using the HEPA filter. So by using HEPA filter laminar airflow, we can prevent the contamination of your containers. And by using aluminum cap, the rubber closures are held in appropriate place. So you might have seen that the vials are always provided with the aluminum cap. So what is the purpose of using aluminum cap? This aluminum cap will ensure the complete closing of your rubber closer. A 500 ml of the infusion bottle is considered suitable for preparation of the parenteral preparations. Infusion bottle. So these infusion bottles are generally available in the plastic bottles, and they are stored with the double cap protecting mouth. What is double cap? Outer cap is discarded. Once you want to utilize this bottle, the outer cap is discarded and inner cap is removed. After ensuring that the bottleneck is not chipped, the solution is poured in and immediately the inner cap is replaced. So this is the purpose of using outer cap and inner